The NFL playoff picture has been confirmed. We're going to give you our predictions for the wild card matchups. We have to give a quick shout out, I suppose, to Denver and Seattle, both respectfully, of course, having buys in the AFC and the NFC. But let's get directly into this, straight into the business end. AFC matchup number one, we have the Buffalo Bills, who went 12-5, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars, who ended up 13-4, and maybe a bit of a surprise, at least my way, winning the AFC South. Maybe the biggest sleeper amongst some of the playoff teams.
I think so too. I mean, we have videos on this channel where we've talked about Jacksonville, and we've kind of just been waiting for them to go back into what we know to be normal Jacksonville, and they haven't at all this season. They've kept on winning. Side note, I will say I think any team, either one of them that wins this game is going to beat the Broncos. I'm going to stand on that, but we'll talk about that more in the next video.
I'm happy to get on board with that too. We both think the Broncos are sort of frauds.
Yeah.
I have way more belief in Seattle, for example, on the other side in the NFC than I do with the Denver Broncos. I don't know if it's around Bo Nix. I don't know about some of the results. They've had some of the ugliest games of football this year, but I guess the reality, they won the games.
Yeah.
And the playoffs can also get kind of nasty. I don't want to ruin your train of thought. Please continue. Anytime I can get a little insert on the Denver Broncos, I'll take it.
That's fair. So I was looking at some of the history between Jacksonville and Buffalo. Last time they played was 2024, and the Bills beat the brakes off them. It was 47-10. But the last time they played in a wild card was back in 2018. Jacksonville won. So it's one of those. I love Josh Allen, but Josh Allen somehow always seems to screw up. I personally don't think this is going to be the round that he screws up, though. I think the Bills are going through.
I wouldn't go that far. Him losing in some of these playoff runs have not been Josh Allen screwing up. They've been remarkable matchups. You had to go against other top-end teams. I'm not ready to get on any bandwagon hating on Josh Allen, but I would like to say with Jacksonville, it's easy for me to go against them. I will say this being a home game is quite helpful because coming from Florida, and then if you had to travel to Buffalo, which is icy cold, it's a whole different environment. You're outside. I went to that stadium this year, first time being there. That is going to be a much different experience than having the home game. And I will say this also about Buffalo. I don't know if they're as elite this year. Now, ironically, it still might be the year they make the run, but I don't believe in their receiving core. I think it's one of the weaker receiving cores. I do believe in Josh Allen. You've got James Cook, both of them having fantastic years as expected. But when you need a big catch or a big play in that third down, maybe you're aiming towards Kincaid or Shakir. But I don't know if I have as much belief in the totality. I mean, everybody gets a toss, but I will throw that out there. I said a lot to still stay where I'm at, where I can't see the Bills not getting the job done. I just don't want to discredit Jacksonville. It's been their defense that's really turned up this year. I mean, top 5 turnover defense. I think they're 11th in the league, so just outside the top 10 in yards per game. That's really been a major factor. But both of us have kind of been against the belief train of Trevor Lawrence. We might have to eat our words and send apologies if he gets this result. But as for now, I'm going with what I know, and that's Josh Allen. He's not going out in the wild card playoff round.
There is one X factor in that game, though, now is the fact that Prater got injured today. So kicking situation is now a thing over there as well. I don't know. I do think Josh Allen can take over a game whenever he wants to take over a game. I don't think Trevor Lawrence has the capability of taking over a game. I like you mentioned, I think it's mainly their defense. I think it's gonna be a good game, but I think Jacksonville's run is coming to an end. So we're both on the Bills.
We're aligned. All right. Okay. Buffalo Bills. Let's move on. So now the next matchup we have is your Chargers, who finished 11-6, and then going up against the Patriots at 14-3. And the Chargers in that final game didn't even try to win the game. They said we want the Patriots, which in some ways I sort of respect. Tell me how you're seeing the lay of the land. Again, this is another West Coast has to travel to East Coast, which right off the rip, little concerning. Boston, super cold.
Yeah, so I was looking it up. The Chargers are not fantastic on the East Coast. Basically, they lost the Giants this season. They beat the Dolphins by 2, and then they got the crap kicked out of them by the Jags. Those were their East Coast games this season. The Chargers in the playoffs are it's the most heartbreaking thing, and I know it because I'm a fan. I don't know how they're going to do in the cold. I think Drake May is really good.
I mean, that's an understatement of the year, but we haven't seen him in the playoffs. I was going to say we haven't really seen him. No, we haven't seen him in the playoffs, but he is the team. He has been that good all year.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to sit here and try to reverse jinx this so they win. Part of me does think the Patriots are going to win, but God, I'd be happy if the Chargers won.
This is one of my potential upsets. Maybe as we continue, I'll talk my way into it. But I mean, you're dealing with a top 5 defense at the Chargers, big time in the secondary. I mean, the question mark is really around, is the offensive line going to give Herbert enough time to work with? That's been kind of the factor or the issue all year long if you're a Chargers fan, because I like their receiving core from tight end to multiple receiver options, even guys that don't even get looks. If you're going third, fourth option down the list for wide receivers, they're still there. And I will say this, the Patriots are 25th in the league in sacks. So if you're concerned about pressure, you might not get as much of it. And I think the biggest critique that's been brought up all year with the Patriots, and it's not their fault, they can't choose their schedule, but if you're looking at some of the wins, you beat Miami twice, you beat in the Panthers, the Saints, the Titans, Browns, you beat the Jets a couple times, the Bengals before Burrow came back, you got the Giants, a lot of teams that in theory you should win, and they have. And their losses were early this year. They kind of went on a streaky stage, and Drake May, I'd say, is going to be a lock, or I think he's going to be a guarantee for the MVP. Definitely he's done more for his status than Matt Stafford in the final games. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the Chargers are going to get over the hump somehow. And they're going to have an upset. The Patriots haven't gone up against a ton of different comp, and this is going to be more disruptive than expected. I think that's going against the grain. I'd love to see the odds when the sports bettors put everything up, which should be maybe tomorrow.
What do you think the spread's going to be if you had a prediction?
In terms of points?
Yeah.
Sorry, the gap. The
spread, yeah.
I think they're going to give the Patriots one of those like maybe minus 6.5 or something where you need to, or -7. I'm not doing this well out loud. You put me on the spot. It'll be where they still win if they win the game and it's not a TD. Maybe they do a 3. Do you think? I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah,
I'm usually a straight line money line better. I'm not a spread better, very heavy. So
I can see him giving them like a weird number, like 5.5 or something like that.
They're gonna have a half in there. I can guarantee there will be a half. I'll be shocked if it's not, because otherwise there's a possibility of a push. They don't want to push.
No, we don't like any pushes at all. So yeah, your Chargers. I would love that. I'm Patriots. I don't have any faith in the Chargers in the playoffs.
I mean, that's fair. That you shouldn't have faith. The numbers don't support you having faith. Them going to the East Coast, not supportive. I'm just a little bit on that board of saying I don't know if the Patriots are actually that good. I just think Drake May is that good.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. The year before, this is not a team that was winning a bunch of games, and they still have a bunch of the same players. It wasn't like they did a complete re-signing or new pickups. I mean, they did make quite a few different signings, but this has really been the Drake May takeover year, and in collaboration with having some games that were maybe on your favor, which is not as good of organizations or teams, but that's not your fault. I mean, they split results with the Bills. They lost to the Raiders, but it was early doors.
Yeah.
And what's the third loss?
They lost the Steelers.
The Steelers.
And the Chargers kind of beat the crap out of the Steelers too, was one of them. But that was also played. It was played in SoFi, and weather is a factor. The only other thing was I saw the Chargers beat the crap out of them in 2024, but there's no Drake May then. So it's like this is the Drake
May conversation. He is the factor, but the guy is so efficient. He's also, they don't talk about it enough, he's so good on his feet. Actually, they don't talk about Herbert enough on that either.
No.
Herbert can scramble. He can give you a lot of yards out of the back if needed. If he needs to be moving around, he's quite mobile. That's maybe the biggest criticism that kind of, I guess, transcends or transitions nicely into the Houston Texans, who finished at 12-5, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, we just finished that game 10-7, and maybe the fix is in that matchup. And I think that's my biggest concern, is the Texans are about to go crazy. My Houston Texans, I got a bias, but I don't think Rodgers can avoid the Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson collaboration. This is going to be Sack City. That's how I see it. I kind of see it as a defensive game as well. I don't think this will be super high scoring. I would argue out of any of the playoff teams that the Steelers have the worst wide receiver core of the playoff teams. That's why they're so reliant on the tight ends, or even the running backs out of the back. That's why you see always Warren or Gaineswell, Washington, Freiermuth. These guys they're the main targets in many degree, if it's not DK. And DK, I mean, he said some prayers, because if they missed the playoffs with a Browns loss while he had that suspension for 2 games for slapping a fan, boy, it would be tough for you in Pittsburgh.
Did you have a preference? Like, were you rooting for somebody in that game? Did you want to play the Ravens, or did you want to play Pittsburgh?
I'd rather play Pittsburgh. I think we're a better matchup against Pittsburgh. I think the Ravens are more dynamic in some ways, having both Henry and, of course, Lamar Jackson. That game was wild. So I prefer the Steelers. I hope I don't eat my words. We got them. I also, in some way, preferred the Steelers to get out of that division. maybe I'm sometimes just rooting for Aaron Rodgers, the old man, to kind of make a push or a comeback. Maybe not in this game, not this year, but I liked that he was kind of able to remind people. I think there's always been a little bit of talk that does he still have it? Can he still make certain throws? And sometimes we've had these conversations on the channel, but I think the issue is he doesn't have the optionality to make a bunch of these deep bombs or to even fool you on some of the play actions. They're not making those runs. You're hoping for maybe a Calvin Austin going deep or a DK to make a big play, but a lot of it is dump offs. Old school football, Mike Tomlin football.
Yeah. I have written down over here, because once again, we don't talk about any of this beforehand. I just think the Texans defense is too much for Rodgers. Kind of like what you said. I have that written down here. Rodgers still has that injury that's kind of lingering as well too, man. He was grabbing at his hand today. I don't know. I just don't see a way that the Texans don't win with the form that they're in. So I have the Texans to go through as well.
I love to hear that. I think it's going to be quite a few turnovers because even offensively, I only talked about positives for the Texans. Offensively, we've been kind of hot and cold. Obviously, a lot hotter through the back half of the season. Defense also turned up, but the defense has been good the whole way through. But I would also argue there's not a big concern on the defensive end if I'm a Steelers fan or a supporter. And the fact that this is also played, even though Steelers don't have the record because they won the division, you have to go to Pittsburgh, which I don't love. That was I was hoping Jacksonville would slip up, Texans get home field advantage. Didn't happen. We can move on. I'm glad that we both are aligned with the Texans. If we now switch to the NFC, I think first game, we're talking Rams, 12-5, Carolina Panthers, 8 wins, 9 losses, and maybe the most difficult team to talk about or to predict.
Yeah, I don't know, because we all played sports growing up. There were teams that you would play against and you would know kind of like the situation going into it. And you're like, oh, these guys aren't that great. They're nothing special. You'd almost play down to their ability. You know what I'm talking about? I feel like when the Rams played the Panthers this season, they almost played down to them and the Panthers squeaked by with the win.
I would counter that argument saying I think that was the best game for the Panthers potentially. I mean, Bryce Young had 3 TDs tossing. I mean, Stafford had a couple picks. The run game was running. If you're a Panthers fan, I just throwing it out there. Throwing it out there. I would it was a collaboration. Like maybe you have the Rams playing down, but also the Panthers played up.
They came up, for sure. I think it's hard to beat teams twice is a thing as well. I just think the Rams are a better team, but I do think there's going to be a lot of points in that game. The Rams have been giving up a lot of points recently, too.
I can't see it, but they got the number 1 offense. I cannot see the Panthers getting this done. No. And I'll even go bolder. If somehow they do, they will lose in this playoff run because they have no consistency. There's no continuity. I watch all the Panthers games. I'm very entertained. I don't know what Bryce Young is going to give us. Never have an idea. If he's throwing the ball, he's running the ball, he's handing it off. Not sure. I don't know if they're going to get yards on the run game or in the air. I mean, this is a real middle-of-the-road team. If you're looking at a stat room stuffing and you want to just compare numbers, I mean, paper is paper. You know, what happens as the year's building, players come back and forth, playoffs, et cetera. There's new factors. But I don't know. I just can't see it. Even though I will say, again, West Coast team now having to travel. I don't know if I'd consider the Carolinas East Coast. It's not really northeast either. It's kind of an in-between. I don't know what you put that as.
Little geography lesson there with Mike.
No, but I'm not putting that southern.
I get it.
Maybe it has more southern influence, but I don't think I would consider that southern. When I'm thinking southern, I'm saying, all right, this guy's talking about Oklahoma or Texas or Louisiana or Arkansas maybe. That like crew of places.
Yeah.
That only like southern people, like a lot of cowboy boots. I don't know if there's enough cowboy boots in Carolina, north or south. But they are like more southern than they are like really East Coast or New York biased or like that pushed. Anyways, yes, I paid attention in geography. We both have the Rams, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I have the Rams as well.
I don't think it's gonna be close either. I think it's gonna be a blowout.
How many points do you think?
I think the Rams are scoring over 30 for sure.
Okay. All right.
So 30 plus for the Rams in a blowout victory. I think Stafford and Puka are about to put on a show. Good luck. I just don't think it's happening twice. I really think they had a career game and Stafford made multiple mistakes, even though he hasn't closed out the year as impressive as he was throughout earlier in the season. TD machine.
Is it not weird though too? I was when I was going through all this as well. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that the wild card round was going to be Buffalo traveling to Jacksonville and the Rams traveling to Carolina, North Carolina.
I mean, shout out to the NFL season. This might be one of the best or worst years you've ever had for betting.
Yeah,
it has been so unpredictable across the board.
It has.
Then every week we talk about this, even not on the channel. Even before we started Tailgate Talk. By the way, you should subscribe. As I stutter through that, subscribe, please. We've got a lot moving. We need you guys to be locked in, turn on some notifications. But I can't believe a lot of the results. Like, even the way that they happen, it's. I mean, if you came into the year, I mean, it's a separate conversation, maybe a different video if you wanted to review what we were saying earlier on. Some of the teams that have been bad this year or not made things happen, like even the Lions. I mean, they didn't look terrible, or the Vikings, but you're saying both of these teams surely are not going to be playing for nothing going into the last week unless they've already secured their spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they're all chilling on the sideline. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or watching JJ not be able to find Jefferson for game on game on game. Don't get me started. It's a different – let's move. Let's talk about a couple teams that have been a little more impressive, especially the Bears. So the Bears are playing the Packers. I don't know if either team's really happy about this. They played each other twice in the same division.
Yeah.
There's always a jinx that you sort of feel if you're going to have a bunch of repeat opponents. Very familiar. Of course, the Bears finishing 11-6, the Packers 9-7-1. They had that draw against Dallas. I mean, the Bears are turnover forcing machines, number one in the league. It's a home matchup. I would love to see them get the win. They have one of the best run games if they can work that collaboration out. I always love talking about Swifty and Monangai. But they should have lost to the Packers in both games.
Yeah.
Like, let's just call a spade a spade. That OT game was one of the best of the year.
Yeah.
One of the best of the year. I rewatch it. I have rewatched it. I would watch it again. Unbelievable stuff.
That's exactly what I have written down too, is that Green Bay realistically should have won both times. The thing is, I don't know where you're going to go with this. I somehow still see Chicago winning, though. I
just don't want to go against the Buck.
I don't either.
But it's like they just played the Lions in that last game where both teams had their starters. They didn't look great.
They didn't. Also,
the Bears need these takeaways to have this last-ditch opportunity that they've been capitalizing this year. It's made for amazing football. I mean, late-stage heroic all year long, and the belief is different in Chicago than it's ever been. At least in our recent years. In the last, maybe even decade, but like for sure the last 5 years, you've not had the same belief that Chicago maybe can make a run. Usually, if you have a turnover defense and you have one of the best run games, you're saying, wait a second, we got something. That's typically success, right? You're getting the yards on the ground. You're controlling the clock. You got game management. You're getting takeaways. You're making big plays. You're saying, okay, we can do this. And I mean, their record sort of supports it. Packers also lost Parsons, which I believe is a big game changer on the defensive end. Just he is a one-of-a-kind kind of disruptor, one of those guys that rushes the passer and makes things uncomfortable. Caleb Williams has risen to the moment. And I'm also going with the Bears against maybe my better judgment. I just have a feeling the Packers are going to somehow come in here and do this, but I'm happy that it's in Chicago. If this was going to be played at Lambeau, I wouldn't be able to take my bias out of the argument.
Yeah.
I have to just flip-flop.
Yeah,
it's going to be close, though. This will be an entertaining game, almost guaranteed.
I said when we first started this channel that I just don't think that Jordan Love is a very clutch quarterback. I said that from the get-go. I don't think that he's really that fourth quarter guy, and I do still kind of stand by it.
No, I'm with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Like, he's got to prove it, make it happen for people. And, I mean, Caleb this year has been icy cold. That's kind of been part of the nickname. Fourth quarter Williams is a real situation. Got a rocket arm, and you got the running game. I would also say the Packers are good with the running game as well, even though sometimes, Josh Jacobs gets some negative feedback. We just made kind of a ridiculous take video that is going to probably rage bait. Maybe I should say I made it. My takes.
It's good rage bait. It's very, very good rage bait.
So we're both Bears. Let's move on. Last game, we got the 49ers, 12-5, who are probably pissed off to be in this position, where they're in somehow an away game against the Eagles, who are 11-6 in a wild card matchup.
Yeah.
This has to be the worst position possible for a team that had such a good year. That was almost unexpected as well. 49ers, another team, especially with the injuries and problems and some of the scheduling, you're saying there's no way these guys are 12-5 this year. But, Mac Jones came in and did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Can I mention that I have open disgust about the Eagles and Philadelphia sports?
I think a lot of people that have watched this channel definitely have picked up on that vibe at this point, man. I think the 49ers, this could be, I don't know if it's a hot take. I think the 49ers are more of an explosive team right now than the Eagles are. I think they've figured out how to use a lot of their weapons a lot better than the Eagles have this season, because we've talked about it too, where the Eagles have every piece of the puzzle I think they need to be the best football team, but they just have not figured out a way to utilize everybody and make it all one like cohesive package for a game is what it feels like yet.
It's strange with the Eagles. Like, the team feels so beatable, but then also you look at the experience. I mean, they have all the key players, to your point. You've got a QB that's been able to do this. You've got a running back that even last year was just unstoppable. You have the offensive line. I mean, talk about an offensive line. You have multiple top-end receivers. Then you're saying, okay, well, what about the defense? The defense is, you would argue, or I would argue, better than the offense this year easily. And that's some of the play calling. And you talk about it again. The secondary's got those guys, again, that can step in. You've got the safeties. You've got the right linebackers. They even drafted well. You have the pass rushers. I think the most difficult part of this, and I will say the Eagles seem beatable, but they still grind out results. Ugly results. They can still get it done versus the best of them. The 49ers have to travel to Philly. That is a problem. That's all. That's where I kind of stand. I think that is a problem. Brock has been active, but will you be the same active QB in Philadelphia? I would love for that to happen. We know CMC can make water turn into wine. I would love for that to happen. You need both of those to eliminate the current champs. I just objectively almost just going through everything. I don't think it's going to be enough. So if this was an away game for Philly, maybe it's different. But Philly is a madhouse. It's a madness. I've been there as the away fan. The Philly fans don't even like each other. Yet alone me going, I stopped eating cheesecake after I went to Philly last time. I said, no, I'm out. I can't support anything.
No.
Yeah, I'm done. No cheesecake. You offer me a cheesesteak or a cheesecake, I'm just saying no to both.
Just anything that sounds or looks like
if you're
it
from
nowadays,
Philly, I might not even shake your hand. It might just be like, I've seen it. I went to the bathrooms. They're not washing their hands. These are dirty guys.
I can see it. I've been to that airport.
It's a grimy group, bro.
It's a grimy area.
They come out of the womb with a beard. I get it. I mean, if you're from Philly, you're going to support Philly, and it's just built into the culture. I'm not. And I'm happy to go against them, but I'm still taking the Eagles. I don't think this is where they go out in the playoff run. But I'm taking the
49ers. I just think they're the better team. I think kind of like you mentioned, I think this is the most beatable Eagles team that I think they've had, but they're still damn good.
Like, that's what's going to be annoying, Buck.
Yeah.
They're the most beatable. They've played so many ugly games. The amount of Eagles that I've watched play where I'm like, how are you guys struggling to run the ball? Yeah. Why is your play calling so predictable? Why is there no dynamic plays? You have the receiving core to do this. You have even the tight end. You have everything. It's been rough. But they're going to mess around, and they're going to repeat or some shit, and then we're going to be on this channel, and I'm going to be upset, and I'm going to have to talk about it every week. It's going to be something like that. It's going to be like that. I mean, I think both the AFC, when I look at the AFC and the NFC, are open for business. The Eagles look beatable. We don't have Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs. Something's going to shimmy and shake. This season's been like that.
It has been. I think this is going to be an unbelievably entertaining playoff picture, man. It's been good. It's been a fun season. Let us know who you guys have. If obviously you disagree with any of our takes,
get a comment in early. Don't come back to the video and be like, I predicted that. I already know how you're. I know how this goes. Be like, that was exactly where my parlay went. Show me the parlay. I want to see these. Give me legit sports betting links and everything. I'm taking it all in the comment section. Make sure to subscribe, and we will have at least a few videos coming out as the playoffs kind of develop. We've got a lot cooked up.